Hey, it's Jaime. I wanted to come to you directly to give you a few tips on taxes because I understand that you, the audience, a lot of you are doing taxes for the very first time as a business owner. This may not be the first time that you're doing taxes, period, but it might be the first time that you're doing taxes as a business owner, and there are some subtle differences that you need to be aware of. Now, quick disclaimer, I am not an accountant, nor do I pretend to be one. What we're gonna cover today is a good overview of what you can expect and also give you a few pointers here and there that are gonna make your tax filing experiences a lot easier. The very first thing that you want to do is gather up all of your documents. This includes W-2s, 1099s, 1098s, and every piece of document that you can get your hands on. So some of you may be doing real estate part-time, so this means that you have some W-2s that you need to get a hold of. And some of you may have left corporate America and are doing real estate full-time, so you still have that W-2, that final W-2 from your employer to account for. But as a real estate agent, the one thing that you absolutely need is your 1099, and this is something that your real estate brokerage should be giving to you in the next couple of weeks. Now, understand that every single company out there in the entire United States has a deadline to give you that 1099. So just be patient, but also follow up with your brokerage because you do need that. And of course, if you have any investment properties or are paying a mortgage on your personal residence, make sure that you're collecting all of the documents that they're gonna send you at the end of the year. And this also includes any investments that you have out there in the stock market. So make sure that you get every single thing that you can possibly account for, including year-end statements from your bank. Everything needs to be accounted for. Now, realistically, for most everybody, the earliest that you're gonna have all of your documents ready to go, all W-2s, all 1099s, all 1098s, and anything that you can think of, the earliest that you're gonna have those ready to go is gonna be towards the end of January. So with that in mind, rest assured that you're gonna have plenty of time to do all of your taxes. However, it's still very important that you understand all of your deadlines that are about to come up, and you want to be as close as possible to the IRS website as you can, because as you know, in 2020 we had some extensions that were given to us by the IRS. So make sure that you stay as close as possible to that website, because this year could go the same. But even if it doesn't and we don't get extensions, that's still okay. You still have the ability to file an extension all the way up until October 15th. So if you're not ready by April 15th of 2021, then trust that you can push that out to October 15th, and that is something that you've had available to you since day one. But of course, I'm not trying to get you to procrastinate, because we understand that if we leave it to tomorrow, it's gonna quickly become next week, and then it's gonna become next month. So that's not the angle that I'm going at. I want you to be prepared early so you can mitigate any possible mistakes that come your way. The last thing you want to do is leave it to the last absolute minute and then just scramble to get something into the IRS and submit something that could be wrong. And tip number 3 is pick the best way for you to file for you. So what this means is, if you're used to filing on your own without any assistance from an accountant or a bookkeeper, that's absolutely fine, but just understand that you do need to put a good amount of effort into getting every single tax deduction that you possibly can. So yes, you may be using TurboTax and you may have found that completely adequate whenever you had a W-2 position, but now that we're in a 1099 role and you're in real estate, which we are treated a little bit different, you want to make sure that you work with a professional. So if you have a preferred accountant, then reach out to them and ask for a reference for an accountant that specializes in real estate, because we're a little bit different. We're seen a little bit different because we have different types of expenses and we drive a heck of a lot for our position. So just make sure that you pair up with a qualified tax accountant that specializes in real estate. And then of course, another huge tip for you is to go down to the bottom of this video and smashing like. And tip number 4 is paying your tax bill. I know that sounds super silly to say, but you'd be surprised. So make sure that whatever the calculations come out to, that you pay them. You may have the money to pay all at once, fantastic. If you don't have the money to pay all at once, then make arrangements. But in order to be right with the government, to be right with the IRS, you want to make your payments. I know that sounds silly to say, but Again, you'd be surprised. And what's gonna really help you out in the future is paying your taxes ahead of time. You don't have to wait until April 15th to pay your taxes. You can do that ahead of time. This way, you don't see one huge bill waiting for you April 15th. You will have already taken care of most of it. What you file April 15th is more of a true up. At that point, you've already accounted for the taxes that you've paid and done the final calculations on what the entire year looked like. And when it comes time for April 15th, what you're doing is just paying the balance. But the best tip that I can give you right now is start preparing for next year. I know, it's next year, right? Who's got time for that? We just got through with a very interesting year, and we're working on an interesting year as well right now, but we want to start forecasting into next year. So this is a great time for you to focus on your business. If you are terrible at managing your miles or keeping track of your miles, all the miles that you drove as a real estate agent, now is a great time to use the apps that I list down below. Those are my preferred apps. If you are terrible at tracking your expenses and revenue, you can use QuickBooks Online. Again, that's going to be linked down below. So start taking your business seriously. And if you're terrible at keeping track of your finances, don't worry. You can use a bookkeeper that can help you out. There are services out there that allow you to use a bookkeeper for relatively inexpensive cost to manage your financials. So that's going to be a huge benefit. You don't need an accountant to keep track of all of your financials. You need an accountant to help you with the taxes aspect, but a bookkeeper is going to be much less expensive. So as an example, I have a bookkeeper that is in charge of reviewing my books every single month. I personally keep my own books because I like seeing the expenses and I like seeing the income, so I can get motivated one way or another. So I know, hey, this month maybe we need to cut back on expenses, and also, hey, this month we were a little bit down on sales, so we need to pick it up. But it's my accountant that does the final true up, that does the final lifting, that submits all of my taxes to the IRS. And I've had an accountant since I was 22 because of the income that I was generating, because of the investments that I had. So the accounting part, that is something that I do leave to the professionals because they help me save in taxes at the end of the day. They know loopholes and they know strategies and they know, ideally, they know everything about taxes that they possibly could to save me some money that I could have in no way, shape, or form found those exemptions myself. And something that I want to make sure that I stress and mention in this video is if you're filing taxes as a business owner for the very first time, congratulations. I understand the struggles with being a business owner. I understand the stress that comes with it. I understand the loneliness that sometimes can come with it. I get you, and I really do appreciate you going out and helping this economy get back to where it was and helping employ other people. So I commend you. Keep moving forward, and I wish you all the best.